Okay, so I will just sit like this. It is not perfect. I am not a top YouTuber. I'm doing this for the first time. Now I'm just going to paint my nails in the second layer and wait for inspiration. Why am I doing this in the air? Alright, so let's just do this. Hi, my name is Alexandra, aka the Artmother. I'm an artist, illustrator, online educator, a mother of two, a music lover, a dog lover, and I am teaching online courses in all different kinds of art topics like watercolors, beginner drawing, digital illustration, and different curriculum topics of art education within digital illustration. I decided to create a show for you. There are several reasons I decided to do this. My nails are still drying, so I need to talk. The first reason is that I really need to practice. I'm doing so much illustration work as a profession, and it is sometimes stressful. I have deadlines. There's pressure and not really joy. As an online art teacher, I have 40 classes published on Skillshare, and actually I think that I have taught everything I know, and I am stuck at a level now, and in a positive way actually, that I reached a potential of my talent, of my creativity, of my art, and I just need to improve myself more. But with 2 kids, a business, a dog, a house to keep, I just cannot find the time, and I don't want to do this again under pressure. Under Pressure, it's a great song. So I'm shooting every Wednesday while I'm creating practice illustrations for myself to improve. As you can see, one of my illustrations here, for example. And I'm going to work in Procreate. Sometimes I'm going to experiment with traditional media because I love traditional media, mainly watercolors. I usually implement watercolor textures in my digital illustrations. Yeah, and also colored pencils that you can see here. There are some weird objects here. I will tell you what are these in a second. Secondly, it is a marketing thing. Yeah, I will not lie to you. I want you to take my online courses. Should I say this on camera? Yeah, so I want to give away free content, free knowledge, free thing of myself, so you can just watch this and enjoy it. I love to watch YouTubers, and I always dreamt of being one of them, but I didn't have the courage because I am an introvert and I love to hide myself behind a paywall. So that's another reason. The third one is that I love to connect with people, and I think that illustrators, designers and even online educators are so isolated. Even if you are just doing this part-time or as a hobby, and mainly if you have this as a profession, you are working all alone. If you don't have a team of people like me, I only have the Dachshund puppy outside helping me. Then this is really isolating, and I hope that I can build a community around this all. So I will just tell you what this show will be about, alright? So I have some weird things here. I have this muffin, I have this weird camera, and this cassette. Oh, my Apple Pencil just took it on the magnet in it, alright? So when I'm stuck or I have a creative block, what I usually do is that I write down several words, a verb, a noun, and an adjective, and choose this and combine this and make illustrations from that. So I'm going to write now 10 nouns, 10 verbs, and 10 adjectives. Choose from them and create an illustration based on that word combination. So I will have a character, right, the noun, I will have an action, the verb, and an adjective that will give like the character personality and originality, and it will help me to make a story actually from that illustration, so it adds a narrative into it. I don't promise you that every artwork that I'm creating will be perfect, because this is practice, okay? So I don't want pressure on this. I want to enjoy this show, and I want you to enjoy this show, and don't put pressure on yourself. So what I thought is that I would choose these words, and after this will come and like you guys are going to roll in. I want suggestions from you for nouns, verbs and adjectives in the comments. So I will put those words also into these beautiful cans, right? This is beautiful. And you are going to draw with me. What do you say? So I thought I am going to illustrate. I will talk about silly things, sometimes spiritual things, sometimes struggles, etc. You can just listen to it, see what I'm doing. I will give you professional tips during the process, and yeah, you can create with me, and then we can all share what we created. It is going to be a bit similar to Artmother that you have at Procreate. If you're following them on Instagram or on other social media, they are sharing these prompts and you create artworks to them, and they're creating these galleries from them. I want a similar thing, not copying them. This is my personal creating thing, alright? So I'm so much looking forward to have you in this show. Subscribe if you like it, and subscribe if you don't like it too, to support a person. Alright, so let's just get started. So what is going to be a noun? Let's think about animals. So I will put 3 animals. Let's say dog. And then there should be a panda. And let's say a frog. And then let's go for inanimate things like, let's say, a book. Or a cup. And let's say a muffin. And then let's say vegetables and fruits. So let's say a strawberry, a peanut, and cactus. That's not a vegetable. So let's say a apple. Ten. All right. So let's say verbs, what they can do. Reading. Playing. I feel like I'm on an English lesson. I have to tell you, I am not an English. How? English is not my mother tongue. And you know what? Guess in the comments where I am from. I'm curious if you will guess it. So playing, drawing, running, let's say cooking, crying, laughing, 5, 6, 7, sleeping, painting, and let's say meditating. All right, and adjectives. So let's say grumpy. Grumpy, okay. This will be fun. Grumpy, lazy, funny, shy, crazy, skeptical. Is that a thing? Let's say. Let's say cute, hungry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Smart. And what is the last one? Let's say kind. Alright, let's cut this. Okay, so let's just choose the noun. I have them in the muffin. Let's choose. A dog. Okay, so I will finally illustrate my Dachshund puppy. A dog. The verbs are here, right? Yeah. Playing. That's cute. What kind of dog? I can't believe this. Crazy. Crazy. Do you know Dachshunds? They are truly crazy. And I need to illustrate a crazy dog playing, and that is my puppy. I will bring him in. So he's here. Hello everyone! So this is the sign that it is good that I'm doing this. So, crazy dog playing. Alright, so even though I have a real life reference out there, it is very good to work from reference photos. If you don't have a real reference you can take a photo from or of, you can go through internet, Pinterest, artworks of other artists who you know that created that kind of a topic or subject, and you can just screenshot their photos and don't copy. So just this is why it is good to use a real life reference, so that you are really doing it from yourself. But using reference photos is not cheating, okay? So what I'm going to do is to go through my photos and find a photo of my Dachshund and put it into Procreate. So I'm in Procreate, and at first I'm going to create a new canvas. As this is practice, I'm not going to overthink this. I'm just going to create a screen-sized canvas. So first things first, let's add the reference photo. So if you hit the orange button up here, hit reference, and you can import an image right here. Okay, so one thing that my Dachshund does frequently is that he sleeps in very strange positions. Like, if you take a look at this, you have to take care of your Dachshund's back, and he's just barking. He knows what I'm talking about. So I try to make his back flat, and he just sleeps and takes naps like this. So he is definitely crazy. So what I'm going to take from this photo at first is the dynamics, and somehow I have to add the playing thing into it. And the first thing that came up to my mind was playing with the ball. Like, it is enough that he is crazy. We will see how it will turn out. So for the sketch, I'm going to use from the sketching, where is it? The 6B pencil and black color. and I'm going to work on this first layer. All right, so what I can see from this, that it has this dynamism like in his body. With illustration, the best thing is that you can like stylize, right? So make sure not to stuck upon details. Just find the basic geometric shapes, curves, triangles, straight lines, edges when you are using reference photos of poses. So I will create an initial sketch. And we'll try to place at first his main body parts. I will try to cover up his intimate parts. I would love to make this a little bit compact, so I feel that it is a little bit like this, but I will curve him a bit more. So I will select and maybe try to cut him a bit more. So it is a really crazy dog. In illustration, it is the best when you exaggerate. So this is the time when you can make unrealistic things happen, even though Dashund is truly realistically a crazy thing, person, or creature. And he's playing, and what is he playing with? Where is the ball? Is it here? There's this ball. Maybe it should be here, like as if he was like jumping somehow. So I will add these lines for this dynamism, like this. Oh, this looks really cool. I love it. All right, I love this because this will fit a square sized canvas as well. And what do we need square size for? Yeah, Instagram. Yeah, so this will be a compact illustration. What I'm going to do is to create a new layer about this one and lower the opacity of this sketch and redraw it in detail on top of it. And this is the time when I am adding a bit more details and things like that. I'm going to speed this up so I don't bore you. When I will stop to say something interesting, I will say it. Yeah, like adding curves makes things cuter in illustration, okay? So you can add curves and exaggerate to make things cool. I think this is so cute. Alright, so what is the next step? We have a clean sketch. I will keep the reference photo here for the colors. But yeah, let's talk about the colors. So what I love to do is a hack is that I put the colors right into the canvas. And I'm going to work with two of my brushes. One is the liner and one is the shader. You can find these brushes created by me in the link below. I will create a brush set for you so that you can use them. These two ones at least, because then I'm going to use the ones that I included in Procreate. Okay, so I will need black. but there's a general rule not to use completely black in illustrations. So I'm going to go for a kind of dark gray, maybe in a bluish tone. Bluish tone. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah, I need the brush. So here it is, the liner. I have a new layer, yes, for the color. It is still a bit very dark, so I will go a bit lighter. Yeah. Good. And then I will need this color. Can I color pick from the reference photo? Yeah! Procreate is so cool. So I have this color for the Dachshund's brown parts. I will try the lighter one. Yeah, that's right, it looks amazing. What other color do we need? I think we need to choose color for the background, and I think that this teal looks amazing with the dog. So the background will be teal. We have ochre here, and it is already a color harmony kind of thing. These colors just switch together. I will just color pick this darker teal or this greenish blue. Yeah, it's amazing. But I think this will be a little bit boring, and I thought that we could add a third color. When choosing colors or creating a color palette, there is a rule of, I don't know, I made this rule up. So let's call it a rule of thirds, but not like in the composition thing. We need 3 colors. There is a dominant color, then there is a sub-color to the dominant color, and then there is a contrastive color that makes things pop. So we have a set of colors for the dog, and that will be the dominant color. Then we have a supporting color for the background, and then we need a contrastive color. And I thought, as we are talking about colors, let's talk about colors. Yeah, I love these word plays. So, and as I love magenta, here it is already in my color in the espresso illustration bag there. So let's try how magenta looks, and it looks great. I will just need to make it a little bit lighter. And you know what is really great about Procreate? That you can change colors afterwards. So this is why it's good to work on layers, because you can just grab a layer of similar items, because it is really good to put similar items next to each other and just change the colors. What you can also notice, what I did here, is that I chose middle range from a color and its darker version. This is because I usually shade with a darker version of a color, which is not always the best choice, because sometimes you need a little bit of contrast in the shading and the lighting thing. Maybe I will go into that while I'm illustrating, but right now we'll just go with these base colors, okay? So I'm just going to pick this black here, this lighter one, this darker one, then the lighter from this, and the darker from this, and the lighter from this, and the darker from this. And voila, we have a color palette. And set it as a default, alright? Another thing that I love to do, and that what I do when I'm illustrating, is to set the background color to gray, so that I can see the colors better. It is really good to, if you know the background color up front, it is good to set it to that, so that it fits your values. Now, I'm just curious, I will just create a new layer above the sketch and also fill it with gray. I will just show you why. Gray. Filled it with gray, and I'll go to this layer. This is the value check layer. This is the layer that when you turn on, you can see the values in your artwork, which means you will see the artwork in grayscale, and you can see if things pop or not, how much can you read the image, because another golden rule that I didn't write, every artwork has to be readable, even in grayscale. Just imagine that the loved one you created the artwork for is colorblind. So you want him to see the artwork, right? Not just the sketch, but the colors, and they can see the values, right? So just think about that. And now go onto this layer that you filled with gray, go onto the blending mode and change it to color. And now you can see that actually the background value I set is very similar to this teal. I could have set it a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter right now. We'll play with the background later. Or what we can do, as you can see, I turned it off and now we can see the colors. So what you can do now is you can set the background color actually to this one. Then you can build the illustration up. What I don't really like about this now, it is too saturated, so other colors will not pop. So I will make this background color less saturated, which means I will push it a little bit darker and to grayish. So I will work on this dark grayish blue background that I can change anytime, but it will work for now. Now let's start illustrating. So I will create a new layer below the sketch and I will work with my liner brush. The liner brush is a little bit textured at the edges. It already has a texture by this in itself. It has a taper, a pressure sensitivity. It is a really great brush to build shapes, because when illustrating, the first step is to build shapes. So I will build the shape of this cutie. And now we are going to work in layers, and now we will need to be aware of things, and I will just tell you which layer, why I'm using them. So I will what I'm turning off right now is this first sketch. Actually, I'm going to delete it. What is this layer? Let me see. Yeah, this is the layer I'm going to work on, and this is the sketch layer. I will turn down the opacity of this layer so that I can see my shapes. So let's do this. I will grab from this dark gray for the color of the dog. So I will lower the opacity of this, the size of this brush, and I will just fill in the shape of this doggy. Pay attention to the edges of this illustration or the shapes, because when it gets too texturized, it will leave out pixels and they can be very frustrating. So again, I'm going to speed this up so that I don't bore you. Also, you can make the eraser the same brush that you are working with. It will help you a lot in the workflow. Okay, so I have the first base shape, and I will create a layer below it and just add the other leg, and I will also include this ear. As you can see, I didn't paint these two hands or legs. I will add them as well on a separate layer. And I will turn off this first layer for the paws so that I can see them, because I wouldn't see them if this shape was like on, right? Okay, let's turn on. All right, we have all the shapes. Oh, apart from the tail. So let's just add that as well. Voila, we have the first base shapes. Congrats. I will grab a little bit lighter gray, and with the shader is a transparent brush. I will make it a bit bigger, and it is also textured. So let's go for the main shape, and we can add a light to this little guy. So as you can see at this bottom, he has a little bit of light. He has light at his belly, and he has maybe light at his top of his head and his ears and his nose, and maybe at this part of his body a little bit. Maybe this top leg is going to be a bit lighter. So now I'm shading actually. Okay, so I'm just going to go over this top part of the dog and the belly to make it a little bit lighter. And when I overdone it, I will just go back with a little bit smaller parts. Okay, I will add a little bit of shadow to the ears and the paws as well. So grab this lighter gray. You can find it at the history of yours. And yeah, add to this top of the ear, maybe to these hints. Okay, I made a mistake, so I will go to this lower part and just simply put these paws to a different layer because they are on top of the dog and this leg and the tail is behind. So I will just cut and paste and place this on top. So I will need to erase from it now, but it is okay. So I will alpha log this layer too and just shade it a little bit. Because Dachshunds have very shiny fur. And now I will go for the texture. I will choose this light umber or ochre and go to the sketching. Where's the sketching? Here. And the 6B pencil. And I will try to, where am I? I will try to add these amber parts to this doggy. So what happened to me right now is that I'm in the flow state. So I started to work in the usual way I used to, like shading and things like that. And I started to experiment now because this is what practice is. And I don't put pressure on myself. This doesn't have to look good. I'm lying. I'm totally scared that this will not look good. Anyhow, I totally love this texture. So what I'm doing is I'm creating kind of gradation. So yeah, I'm speeding this up and I am now adding this more bravely. I'm actually cross-hatching, which means that I go in one direction and then go in the other one. And I'm not afraid now because of this mouth, because I can redraw it, okay? So I just invented again a new, maybe this is absolutely not new, but it is new for me. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually shading with cross-hatching back and forth with these colors. So gray and the ochre. And now I'm adding a little bit of shading here and there so that these paws don't look odd. Amazing. Okay, and what about this ear? So I will create a layer on top for adding details. Now I can use black or very dark gray. Let's go for a very dark gray. And I will just add these lines inside the dog so that it differentiates these parts. Yeah, and I will use a really light gray to kind of go over the whole body, to add a little bit of this texture all over him. As for the lights, okay, this is so nice. All right, let's do the ball. I will grab this very pink. I will go for my free illustration liner, and I'm on a new layer and just paint this ball. I tend to overdo and over illustrate sometimes, so now I'm also trying to simplify things and don't go into too much detail, into too 3D, because sometimes I spend too much time on like details and like it is sometimes just simply not worth it. So I will alpha lock this ball. I will choose this darker version. I will make it a little bit even darker and going with the shader to the ball and shade it like this. I will add a new layer and a little bit darker gray. Make this layer to a clipping mask. What a clipping mask does is that it clips the layer that you're drawing on into the shape that it is below it. So when I'm drawing a line like this, it doesn't go outside the ball. And if we want to continue the same exact process, we will need to add with a sketching pencil the textures. Where's the sketching pencil? The 6B. So let's try. I will add a little bit of texture into this ball like this. And let's add a color. So I will add another layer that is here, and I will just improvise a shape for the... I will go to the recent. That will help me with the liner. So this color, maybe she, it will be a she. I have a boy doggy, but this will be a she. Like this. So cute. I will turn off the sketch. And our dachshund is almost done. What I don't like about him is that he doesn't have that much of a contrast. So I think I will go with the very dark shader and just add some shading. Cool! I totally love how it turned out. I adjusted some details like the eyes here and this line for the ear to make it a little bit more interesting, as the dark gray was really blending into the whole body of this doggy. So what we need to do now is the background. So I will create a new layer down here. I already thought about the background, but I will just recreate it. So I chose this dark blue to be in the background color right here. As you can see, this is the color of the background. And I now have a layer above it, and I will choose this light blue that we had here and choose the, where is it? The shader brush to make the whole doggy pop. So it adds already texture to the whole. I will just make the doggy pop if I put a lighter layer of this texture behind him, and I can enhance the darker one at the edges to create a kind of a vignette, and this will make it all pop and look amazing and already finished. So what we need are these lines here that we have right in the sketch for dynamics. I will keep this dark blue and I will go to the inking brush set that comes with Procreate right here, and the ink brush is so cool. It creates so nice textures. So I will create a layer above it all and just simply draw these dynamic lines here like this, and then go to the blending modes and see which one looks the best. And I think the soft light blending mode looks the best as it creates kind of a transparent effect to it. I will turn off the sketch and I guess we are finished. Alright, so I am super happy how this turned out. I was honestly really afraid that I will not be able to perform this action to you. If during my flow state you find that I'm just talking nonsense and I'm not explaining too much, I try to fill that void with some notes at the side. If you are hearing this, you already know that. So what happened today is that I shown you my flow state, my workflow, the brushes that I use. I will provide you everything, even the sketch. So if you want to play a color me thing or color it thing, you can do so. I would love to ask you to at least tag me as the Artmother so that others can find this if they find it helpful. Maybe they can learn something from me. I do hope so. So I love this Dachshund puppy. I will call him. Thank you very much for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on social media, on Instagram, Facebook. Check out my Skillshare classes. You will get a 1 month free premium membership if you click the link below. You cannot eat my Apple Pencil. I will be angry. That's not a real muffin. That's not a real muffin. Yeah, and here is the crazy dog playing. What do you say? It's cute. If you want to learn more and to dive deep into other topics, I have several Skillshare classes on different topics that you might like. I have a class on illustration for beginners where you get a kickstart to the functions of Procreate. If you don't know the functions of Procreate, that is a good idea to do that class. I have a class on shading, perspective, 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, character design, human characters, and so on. So make sure to come and check out my Skillshare teacher profile with more than 11,000 followers on Skillshare and more than 50,000 students in my classes. There are so many people liking my classes. So yeah, you will be my co-star. What do you say? Drawing me the Dachshund. So I wish you all the best and happy creating.